Welcome everyone to stage 2 of Rolling Scopes. Today we're going to start with animations, the first lecture of stage 2. From now on, you should receive some harder topics to tackle and of course harder tasks automatically. So I actually recommend joining these live lectures more often now than before. I can see there's, well, a bit more people than usual, but still I'm quite disappointed on the count of people actually watching us live. But thank you for those who actually joined. So we shall start today. Your lector is Alyssa. She is new. Say hi, Alyssa.
Hi everyone.
All right. So yeah, I think I've said everything I wanted. So you can start.
All right. So I'll share my screen. And today I'm having some issues with my connection, so if you don't mind, I will turn off my video. And I hope everything will go well with the screen sharing. Do you see my screen?
Yep.
That's cool. So, all right, today we're going to talk about creating some moving themes using CSS, and we're going to talk about animation, basically two things: animations and transitions. They have something in common, but there are two a bit different concepts. By the way, you can see these like the three dots. They are created with the outline of JavaScript. So that's what I'm going to learn to do today. If you have any questions, we will have like a block for questions, but you also can ask anything while I'm talking. So don't be shy, please. So what are the transitions? The transitions are the properties which allow us to change the other properties smoothly over a given duration of time. So you probably everyone have seen this like this smoothly moving buttons and hover effects, all these smoothly checking checkboxes and so on. So here is a quick example of two buttons. This one doesn't have any transition in it, and this one has a transition effect. So how to how to trigger them? Maybe okay. The transitions are triggered once the property is being changed. It doesn't matter how it's been changed, via JavaScript or according to some user event. If we have described that this property should be transitioning, it will be it will happen the way we have described it. So there are several ways of describing the transitions. Here you can see that we have for this example we have two things changed for this button on hover. We're applying the transform and we're applying the background change. So while describing the transition, we can use, we should tell what are we going to change, and we can simply use the keyword all for this, and that would be enough. Or we can apply several transitions and set different timing in it and so on. Or we can not use shorthand property and describe all the things here. So let's review how can we describe it? Firstly, we should tell what property are we going to change. We can use, as I said previously, we can use keyword all, or we can list all of the properties like transform, background, color, and so on. Another one thing we should mention is time. Uh, is a period of time during which this property is should be changed. For example, 1 second, half of a second, and so on. This period of time is set in seconds. So here we have 1 second, and another two things are transition timing function and transition delay. Transition timing function describes the way of the way of moving. We will show. We will see it on the next slide and dive a bit deeper into it. And transition delay is the thing that is missing here. And if it's 0, it's just 0, or we can tell that our transition should start like half of a second after the property is being changed. Is it clear for now? All right. So let's talk about timing functions. So timing functions are the most interesting part of the transition, and they can be described in several ways. There are timing functions. There are functions, and there are keywords. Here we see the set of keywords, and each of them actually describes actually can be described with this function, but these are just shorthands for it. So here, for example, we have linear animation, and there are several other ways. You can find the full list of timing functions on MDN or any other documentation source. So what about functional way of describing describing it? There are two options, like there are steps and cubic Bezier. Steps don't look smooth, as you can see, and here we can set like number of breakdowns and the like the final state of it. And cubic Bezier cubic Bezier is Bezier function that will describe the moving. There is a very nice site which can show us how the effect will be applied. So here we see there are two blocks here, and firstly we'll review the keywords, and then we can create our own Bezier function and see how it is going to work. So for keyword examples, you see that they are also there is also the function, and here is how the is looks like. It's like a bit slower in middle, and beginning and start are different. Here is linear animation. See the blue block is moving linearly, so no slowing downs are applied. Is in is a bit slower at the beginning and then becomes faster, and is out is inverted, so it's faster at the beginning and slows in the end. And is in out is a bit slower in the beginning and slows again, then becomes a bit faster and slows again in the end. And our custom cubic Bezier can be like any way we like. So let's see, it can be sticky in the middle, or it can be like and have some kind of step effect. It's very useful for creating some complicated effects, and using tools like this can really help you to create something interesting, because you can just try to move these two dots on the graphic and find out what you would like to see, instead of trying, for example, trying random numbers or something like this. So I really like it. Okay. That's about the transitions. So what about animations? According to transitions are triggered by some event, like class changing or user event and so on, but the animations are something that is happening, like that it's just happening. And basically the animation is describing the animation consists of two parts. As first part, we should describe the keyframes, and the keyframes is a rule where all the animation magic happens. And the other part is the animation property, which describes all other properties of the animation. How long is it going to happen? How much times is it going to happen? What is the animation direction? When it is going to stop? And so on. And also it binds the keyframes with the object which are we going to animate. So the keyframes are set using might be set using two keywords, from and to. You will see some examples on next slide. The main concept here is that we are describing the from state and the two states, the starting and finishing state of the object we are going to animate. Or we can describe it with breakpoints. So for example, 0%, 20%, and then 100%. So they're pretty equal. You can see the example of how can how can we describe the keyframes using keywords from and to. Here we have their named example, and we're changing background color of our element from red to yellow. So once this animation will be applied to, for example, div, it will be smoothly changing like red, yellow, and become again red and yellow and so on. And when we are describing the animation using the percentage, we can add as many breakpoints as we want, and as many rules as we want. So here you can see you see only one rule for each breakpoint, but actually we can not only change background color, but we can change, for example, background color and size and font size, and you see the set. There is set of rules, and once we'll set it with 0% and 1%, it will be equal to from and to. Actually, I have moved to full screen mode, and let's see if anything is happening in Teams. Yes, okay. So okay, the animation is a shorthand property, which consists of you can see pretty long list here, and sometimes it's might be hard to remember all of the things. So at the beginning, I suggest you to use not to use the shorthand, but maybe use these properties separately. Just it will be easier to remember all of them and their order this way. And then you can easily switch to using shorthand, and once you know what are the keywords for everything and what is the order, it will be easier for you to read it and so on. So let's review them one by one. The animation name is the name we are describing with the keyframes. So here's this part of property binds the keyframes to the element, as I said. The animation duration is the duration of the iteration of keyframes. So on what period of time this change should be happening. And the timing function is pretty same with the timing function for transitions. So that's pretty nice moment. You should only remember it once. There are same keywords like is in, is out, linear, and it also can be described with cubic Bezier. So that is it. The animation delay is the delay happening before animation start. So here's one thing to remember, that animation delay will not only be happening between the iterations of animation, but it also will be happening at before the first iteration. So if it's also set in seconds, but if we'll set something here, it will be like for example, 1 second, then animation will happen, and then there will be 1 second delay, and then another iteration of animation will be happening. So this first delay is a problem sometimes. Animation iteration count is describing how much times are we going to play our keyframes. So here we can set a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, any other, or we can set infinite, and so it will be playing like this preloader at the beginning, so it will be just changing, so on. Another interesting thing is the animation direction, which is describing the direction of the direction of applying the keyframes. So normally we'll start from 0% or from from something we have described with the keyword from. But if we will use reverse direction, it will be like reversed. Another one thing is alternate direction, which will firstly work as normal, and next iteration will be reversed, and then it will be normal again, and then it will be reversed. And alternate reverse is working like in reversed way according to alternate. Is it clear? Because I'm now telling it, and I'm understanding that it might be like, it might sound a bit confusing. Please tell me something. Do you hear me actually? Hey. Okay. Because I'm feeling a bit strange. Okay. I'm feeling a bit strange because like I don't see anyone, and and there is no feedback. There are no questions. So I hope if something will be unclear, you will ask.
Yeah, that's normal. Get used to it.
Okay. Oh, maybe I will try to open Teams on my phone. I think that this can be easier, because I see the can see messages. Just a second. I can't find it. All right. So that's about the animation direction, and the animation play state is defining, is our animation paused or is it running. So this is like the only way of controlling the animation with like with styles. So we can, for example, set that it should be running only while user is hovering the object we are animating, or only once the checkbox is checked, and so on. And once this is not applied, it becomes paused, and it stops, and everything freezes. And the animation fill mode defines the final state of the animation. If we have like certain number of iterations, not infinite, but for example 1, 2, 3, 4, we can set that we can tell what styles should be applied to the element. We can not apply keyframe styles at all if we set none. We can apply the rules of final frame if you set fill mode forwards, or the rules of first keyframe if we set backwards, and we can apply both forwards and backwards if we set both. Any questions about animations? Okay. So here is the code which describes these 3 dots we have seen at the beginning. This. So you can see that we have defined firstly we have defined the keyframes rule and called it preloader. And there are only, it's pretty simple. So we have defined that element should be scaled 2 times and applied it to the 3, like to each of the 3 dots. And please note that you can only describe the keyframes once and then apply it several times using the animation rule. So you don't have to describe like if you want the same effects to be applied, you shouldn't describe it multiple times. You should just apply different duration or different delay, for example. For these 3 dots, just different delay was applied. The first one has like there is a difference in like 20 milliseconds. Please note that there is like oh my god, what is the word? So there are like parts of a second. And you see that we have been here's animation name, animation duration, animation timing function, animation direction, animation delay, and the iteration count. So pretty simple concept, but we can create really interesting things with it. Not all CSS properties can be animated or transitioned, and typically we can apply them only to some properties that have numeric value or color value. example, font size, like background color, and so on. There is a nice list of animatable CSS properties on MDN, and I think it's not only on the MDN, so you can actually check if something is not animating. You can check. Maybe it's just maybe you're just unable to animate it. For example, display property cannot be transitioned or animated. So if you want to smoothly hide the elements, you should use opacity, for example, and if you then want to apply display none for it or some other like visibility hidden and any other things, basically visibility can be animated. So if you want to apply display none to it, then you should apply it after finishing the transition that will change the opacity. And also all these things can be controlled with JavaScript. And there are several, they're not giving us much control, but something can be controlled. And there are several DOM events which are triggered when animations and transitions are happening. So here is a list of them. Animation iteration is being triggered when the iteration each iteration of animation end is triggered as you can guess when animation ends. And, we have same one for animation starting, and we have same two things for transition start and transition end. And also to control the animation, we can manipulate the animation play state CSS property. So we can, for example, just change it with JavaScript, and there will be a bit of control. One important point here is that not all of these properties have not all of these events have good support at all browsers. So if we will go to oops. If we will go to can I use, we'll see that the transitions have pretty good support, and actually they even don't have many known issues. Yeah, everything's pretty good with them. Same thing with same thing with the CSS animation, but if we will check the event, for example, animation, like okay, a little bit transition start, you will see that it's not so good for transition start. Transition end has much better support. Actually, we're usually more interested in knowing when the transition ends. For example, when I was describing this, like the thing with hiding things, with changing the opacity, for example, and then on transition and applying the display none property. So here is how it can be implemented. And about animations, you also see that we have unknown support for IE. Same with animation and animation iteration. I would like you to suggest to have some practice with these two things and to create. I would like you to suggest some exercises, like choose some effects of some effects for buttons or for any control elements, but buttons are the most common thing is for applying transitions is button hover. So I suggest you to maybe find some inspiration over the internet, or just create something you would design by yourself and create several button effects. Another one common thing for applying the animations is creating preloaders without JavaScript. So I would also suggest you to try it. And the most fun exercise, I think, would be to try to create animated logo. For example, you can choose a picture or maybe kind of some logo you like, and you can imagine nice animation effect for it. For example, moving some like moving part of an eye or something like this, and moving paws to some creature, mouse over, or just constantly moving, and implement it. And it should be great if you will share something, share some things you have created during doing these exercises. It was pretty quick. So what about some questions or something? We can do some demo maybe if you don't have any questions. Okay, so as I see, no questions.
Everything was clear, right?
Right.
Right. Okay. So we still have 20 minutes. So we can I know we can finish it. We can finish it at this point, or we can. Okay. So many examples. What do you mean? Do you want me to show some examples for now? It can be very good to see all options directly with visual examples. All options. What options do you mean?
All of the transition properties and animation properties. I think that's what he means.
All right.
Like basically, if you could just open JS Fiddle or something, and just animate a basic shape. I don't know, just animate its width or color, just to demonstrate. I think that's what they want.
All right. Okay. So let's do it. Let's use maybe just Fiddle. Okay. So let's create the element. Oops. Okay. And it'd be a rounded shape. Called it round. So here it is. Okay. So let's firstly apply some transitions to it. So let's take our round and say that on hover we want its color, not color, but the background to be blue. And you see we have this jump effect for now. But once we will add the transition, you see, and about different timing functions, to see some difference, maybe we'll need its longer period of time. So this is linear. This is easing out. And not looking so different actually. This in and this out is pretty same. So about the steps. Several several steps here. And maybe so about it. Let's create something more interesting. Like let's define the keyframes. and say that for example, for 0%, we want the background to be red. Okay, it wouldn't be actual rainbow because we'll only have 5 points here. And then once we have described the keyframes, we should bind it to the element. So we are setting the animation name. We're setting the duration. I got also understand that I'm a bit nervous, so I have forgot. Um, then infinite. What else would we want to say here? It would be normal. Okay, going to happen? Yes, you see that it's happening. What you can see that there is, okay, let's see it a bit longer. You see that we're jumping from the last frame to the first frame at the on each iteration. And if we change this normal to alternate, it will become a bit smoother. So we'll be going in this direction, and then we'll be going in this direction, and so on. We also can add not only one property here, we can also say that on 0%, we want it, we also want to change the size, for example. So let's add some transform. No, something's wrong. Oh, okay. also not very good, but yeah, let's see. So we can set any change, we can apply any set of rules we would like to. It doesn't have to be different. It doesn't have to be same for each part of keyframes. And if we will set normal here, again, we'll see that the effect is completely different. So there is like many, there are many things that will be done. Yeah, it's kind of magic. Any other requests? Like any type of preloader you would like, or any other control element?
I think you guys should just open up JS Fiddle and try out all of the properties that interest you yourself. I mean, because this can go on for days to demonstrate.
Yeah, that's you should open the like MDN and show all the and have a look at all these lists and try them just to know what property influences on what, and what can actually be implemented. Now you know some basic things, and should just have some experiments with combining them, because there are really complicated things that can be created with interesting effects, which can be created using transitions and animations. All right, here it is. We have like 5 minutes left, so I think that is it for today.
Thank you, it was awesome.
Thanks for the lecture.
Okay, if you have any